let's jump right in. If you run a cosmetic or aesthetic clinic, maybe you're the owner, the practice manager, or a lead practitioner, you are in exactly the right place for today's explainer. We're getting straight to the point with a strictly evidence-based look at what is really driving your business growth. We're going to unpack exactly why standard run-of-the-mill review collection completely misses the mark in the high-stakes world of aesthetics, and how plugging this invisible leak can literally transform your bottom line. We're looking at the hard data on how prospective clients actually choose a clinic. And spoiler alert, the most recent reviews on your Google profile are doing way more heavy lifting than anything else in your marketing budget.
So here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the 4.8-star conversion gate. Then we'll expose a massive industry blind spot, the silent 99%. After that, we'll tackle timing the post-result ask, look at the safety net of resolving negatives privately, and finally wrap up with the real-world impact of the 90-day conversion lift. Let's do this.
Section 1. The 4.8-star conversion gate. I want you to think about this for a second. Why is your research traffic not converting into booked consults? You might have these absolutely killer Instagram ads running. Your before and afters look phenomenal, and you are getting the clicks. But if those clicks aren't actually turning into appointments, well, you've got a leaky conversion funnel. And in the cosmetic space, that leak almost always happens on Google. Think about it from their perspective. A client is not dropping $1,200 on a first-time treatment just because they saw one good ad. No way. They are spending hours researching, comparing, and hunting for a clinic that other people clearly trust. Which brings us to a very specific number, 4.8. This right here is the unforgiving qualification gate. Prospective cosmetic clients filter aggressively. The data shows they're looking for a minimum 4.8-star rating just to even consider putting you on their shortlist. It's crazy, but moving from a 4.5 to a 4.8 roughly doubles a clinic's conversion rate. And going from a 4.8 to a 4.9, that adds another 30 to 40% lift. It is just a brutal mathematical reality.
Now compare that to a restaurant. A 4.6-star rating for a local Italian place, totally fine. If the pasta comes out a little cold, it's just a minor bummer. But cosmetic clinics? You guys are operating in the highest trust local business category in existence. The treatments are expensive, they're often irreversible, and the results literally live on the client's face or body. In this category, 4.6 stars doesn't say mostly good. It screams risky. People filter hard for that 4.8 plus mark, and then they immediately look at exactly how recent your latest positive reviews actually are.
Section 2. The silent 99%. Let's talk about the math of aesthetics.
There is a really fascinating and frustrating divide in client behavior here. Basically, 99% of your thrilled, super happy cosmetic clients will never leave a Google review organically. Why? Social privacy. They just don't want their friends or coworkers knowing they had work done. The treatment is deeply private to them, even if the result is right there for everyone to see. But that remaining 1%, the ones who are frustrated, maybe they had a clunky consult, an unexplained side effect, or some issue with aftercare, yeah, they have absolutely zero reservations about complaining very loudly online.
And because your happy clients are staying quiet while the angry ones are posting, a clinic that isn't actively managing this is basically sitting on a ticking clock. It creates what we call the most recent decay curve. So from months 0 to 3, everything seems perfectly fine. But by months 9, that happy review volume completely stalls out, while the complaints just keep trickling in. Suddenly, the very first thing people see is dominated by 1 to 3 highly visible complaints. And here's the real kicker. A prospect will completely ignore your overall 4.7-star rating if the first thing they read is a 3-month-old 2-star review complaining about their filler looking off. Boom, you lose the booking instantly.
Section 3. Timing the post-result ask. Hitting that post-result peak.
So how do we actually fix this? Well, we have to fix the engine itself. We need to shift the review request from being some boring administrative task into an emotional peak. Most clinics have a fatal flaw in how they operate right now. They use generic review software that just defaults to sending an automated email exactly 7 days after the appointment. But think about aesthetics. The appointment itself is not the emotional peak. Honestly, the client is usually just relieved the procedure is over. The true emotional peak happens weeks later. It's when the swelling has finally gone down. They look in the mirror and they just absolutely love what they see. An engine built for aesthetics knows to ask for the review right at that precise post-result peak.
And when we dive into the data across hundreds of clinics, the optimal timing actually varies a lot depending on the exact treatment. For injectables, like filler or Botox, the sweet spot is 10 to 14 days later. That's when things have settled and they've got themselves in some great lighting. But for laser or IPL, you really need to wait 3 to 6 weeks to allow for skin recovery and the actual visible improvement. And for surgical procedures, you're looking at 8 to 12 weeks. Tailoring the ask to the specific service makes sure the request lands right when the client is at their absolute happiest, which makes them highly motivated to actually tap that 5-star button. Moving on to Section 4, resolving negatives privately, creating a structural safety net. Let's be real, even the absolute best clinics have off days or misunderstandings. The crucial thing here is that you simply cannot afford to have a 2-star review go live while you're still trying to figure out what went wrong. This is where intent filtering comes in. It captures those little bits of microfeedback first. If a client signals they had a 3-star experience or lower, that feedback doesn't get pushed to Google. Instead, it gets routed privately, straight to your practice manager. Now your team has this golden opportunity to pick up the phone, offer a top-up appointment, and actually repair that relationship. And the data here is wild. Catching those bad aftercare moments privately leads to a massive 94% reduction in negative public reviews. Section 5. The 90-day conversion lift. Let's look at the real-world impact.
To put this into perspective, let's walk through a composite case study of a Sydney Inner West aesthetics clinic over a 14-week stretch. Week 1, they integrated their software, Pawbow in this case, and tuned the review engine to match their specific service mix. By week 6, the magic started happening. Their most recent Google view completely flipped. It totally buried an old 2-star and a 3-star review under this wave of fresh, super specific 5-star reviews. By week 10, their organic inbound trust had become so strong, they literally turned off their paid lead generation ads, completely stopped them. And by week 14, they were seeing a 1.9 times lift in booked consults, all while sustaining a flawless 4.9-star rating.
But I really want you to notice this number right here, 19. During that exact same 14-week window, this Sydney clinic caught 19 negative reviews privately by using that intent filtering we just talked about. That is 19 potential relationship-ending, very public complaints that the practice manager was able to just handle over the phone. None of them ever saw the light of day on Google. Their page stayed absolutely pristine and just kept actively driving those conversions.
The lead cosmetic doctor at this clinic actually summed this up perfectly during their debrief. They said reviews aren't just the rating, they're the qualification. Clients now arrive having already read 40 real client experiences. That right there is the ultimate value of having a fresh 5-star review engine. You're not just collecting stars for the sake of it. You are pre-qualifying your patients, you're building immense trust, and you're letting those reviews do all the heavy lifting of selling before a client ever even steps foot in your lobby.
I want to wrap up today's explainer by leaving you with a bit of a provocative question. Seriously, open up a new tab right now, search your clinic's name, and look at your profile. What do your top 3 most recent reviews actually say right now? Are they from this week, packed with glowing, really specific praise? Or are they months old, super generic, or worse, hiding some lingering complaint? Those top 3 reviews are literally deciding whether your next prospect books with you or the clinic down the street. It is time to fix those invisible leaks and let your incredible results do the talking. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this gives you the exact framework you need to accelerate your clinic's growth.